Dontaesboxingnation, what's going on, guys? So you heard Shakur Stevenson. He went back and forth with Ryan Garcia, and he told him, he said, "You lucky you did that to Devin Haney and not me, because if you did that to me," referring to the cheating, him testing positive for PEDs, "you probably wouldn't even be breathing today," is what Shakur said. Guys, how is it possible that Ryan Garcia, he just completely violated the entire race? What he said about black people and Muslims is going viral. This is way beyond boxing, and it's way beyond Ryan Garcia being a cheater, which is why I don't understand why Shakur Stevenson just completely act like Ryan never even said it. I mean, you tell this man that he probably wouldn't even be breathing today if he would have cheated against you. So what does that mean? Does that mean that if Ryan Garcia didn't cheat, but instead just completely dissed your entire race in the most disrespectful way, you would have been cool with that? I guess I can't even say would have been. He is obviously cool with it. Ryan Garcia, he just called you, your parents, and your kids an effing N-word and said you ain't gonna do nothing about it. Anyway, it was something else that Shakur Stevenson, he talked about in that back and forth with Ryan. He brought up Mark Kriegel asking him negative questions, but instead of him blaming it on Mark Kriegel, he blames it on the higher ups. That wasn't no higher ups, that was Mark Kriegel's call. Matter of fact, I remember when he fought Nakatalya. Mark Kriegel wasn't even calling that fight. He was off that night. And he actually called in during Shakur Stevenson's fight, and he still dissed Shakur Stevenson. This man is on the phone, and he's saying if Shakur Stevenson doesn't want people calling him boring, he better do more. And what makes that situation even crazier is Tim Bradley was calling the fight that night, and he had never said anything bad about Shakur the whole night Shakur was fighting against Nakatalya. Right after Mark Kriegel called in to imply that Shakur was putting on a boring performance, that's when all of a sudden out of nowhere, Tim Bradley, he starts saying, "Man, I'm falling asleep." Meanwhile, Teofimo Lopez, he just had a terrible performance the week before in a small-ass arena, and none of them, Mark Kriegel, Joe Tessitore, none of them talked about how boring Teofimo Lopez was, how poor the performance was, how he was supposed to get that guy, Steve Clackett, out of there because he has 7 losses. He had already been knocked out before. We didn't hear any of this. In fact, we've never heard Joe Tessitore or Mark Kriegel or even Tim Bradley, who usually follows their lead, call a non-black fighter boring. And they had several opportunities to do so. I remember when Berlanga fought on ESPN, put on a terrible performance. Nobody called him boring. It ain't no higher ups, it's all of them. They even showed people walking out, leaving the arena. Do you guys know that ESPN has never done that before? And Shakur Stevenson had a good crowd that was there watching the fight. Just like I said, Lopez, he just fought last week. It was only like 2,000 people there watching him fight, compared to 9,000 people watching Shakur fight. And when Lopez was fighting, Joe Tessitore, he actually said, "Good crowd, we got a good crowd over here," during the Lopez fight. He never said that during the Shakur fight. I'm telling y'all right now, man, y'all need to start paying attention to the hypocrisy. Devin Haney fights against Kambosos in a rematch. All of a sudden, ESPN, they put up Clinch stats. They put up Clinch stats, but they only put up stats of Devin Haney. They didn't put up any Clinch stats of George Kambosos. They used this stat just to undermine Devin Haney's performance. Matter of fact, Andre Ward, who was calling that fight, he claims that he actually told the producers off the mic that that's not right to do clinch stats because clinching is part of boxing. Who knows? That might be one of the many reasons why they let him go. And then Shakur Stevenson, he calls Ryan Garcia a white boy. Like that was supposed to be a diss. Man, Ryan Garcia, he's looking at that as the ultimate compliment because he don't want to be considered Mexican. He wants someone to call him a white boy, but he ain't no white boy. Because if he was white, they would have opened up the borders of Mexico to let everybody come over here, just like they letting everybody from Ukraine come over here. And all those European countries, they're doing the same thing. They are inviting the Ukrainians to come to their country because they are white people. If Ryan Garcia was in that Walmart in El Paso, Texas, when that white supremacist drove 500 miles looking for Mexicans to kill, oh, Ryan, he would have found out real quick he ain't no white boy. Now, if you notice, when Shakur did call Ryan a white boy, somebody responded and said, damn, he ain't even white. And Shakur, he said, well, the Mexicans, they don't claim him. Man, I'm telling you, man, Shakur believes everything he hears these racist people say on the internet. When Ryan Garcia beat Devin Haney and we didn't know that he cheated, all the Mexicans was claiming Ryan Garcia, just like whenever Ryan Garcia fought. I'm talking about before he got knocked out by Gervonta. When Ryan Garcia fought, the entire audience was Mexican, which is what you would expect, right? No different than the Vergil Ortiz fights. The entire audience is Mexican. Of course, Mexicans don't want to claim him when he becomes the most infamous person in boxing, when he becomes the most racist boxer of all time, and he represents Mexicans. Of course, they don't want to claim him, at least not in the open. But none of them, if you notice, none of them are denouncing Ryan Garcia. Not too many Mexicans are dissing him, calling him a racist, calling him a cheater. See, they don't go that far. They might not claim him publicly, but that loyalty is still there. I seen one Mexican guy in my comment section. He said he ain't even Mexican. I said, I ain't either. So how come y'all not trashing and dissing him the way y'all diss black people? So you're telling me when Ryan Garcia returns and he has his first fight or any fight, you guys are going to be there booing him like you guys always boo the black fighters? We know what time it is. That ain't gonna never happen. When Ryan Garcia returns, y'all gonna turn up. No matter how big the room is that Ryan is fighting at, it's gonna be filled with Mexican fans. I can guarantee you that. And y'all gonna be cheering him on more than ever. With that being said, I'm gonna wrap this video up. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Let me tell you guys about Issa Israel Law Firm. It is a full-service legal practice based in Denver, Colorado, an emerging hub for combat sports and high-altitude training. If you're a fighter inside or outside of the ring and you need a law firm you can trust to fight for you, visit thefighterfirm.com or email help@iilawfirm.com. Legal representation is usually limited to plaintiffs or defendants in Colorado, but iFirm can help anyone in the world with trademarking their business name, logos, and U.S. immigration issues. This brother has been my attorney for a while and helped guide me through all kinds of business and civil issues, so make sure you guys go to thefighterfirm.com. All right, now check this out, guys. If you're looking to repair eczema scars, burns and bruises, dark spots and blemishes, fever blisters, diabetic ulcers, this right here is the perfect product for you guys. It's called LO Decay Face and Body Oil. Athletes and top-ranking boxers, they're also using it after training to reduce swelling, inflammation, and to ease the pain. So get yours today. Go to lodecay.com, like them on Facebook, and follow them on Instagram.